Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Libra energy. Oh, goodness. The cards are kind of going all over the place here. And we had one fall on the ground. We have a lot of cards not showing in the top row. Okay. I'll just try to remember that one fell on the floor. Okay. Anyway, Libra energy. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Libra energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Libra energy. We have people in our life who are in more high vibrational energy. We have the free will to align with our more high vibrational energy, to not be manipulated by our more shadowy energy and more shadowy people in the world. And we have the free will to choose what we want to align with within ourselves and what type of people we're going to align with in the world. Because we live in a world of duality. There are people all over the spectrum in their free will that have their idea of what they think is just and fair. And some people are very selfish, greedy, self-centered, all about themselves, out for themselves, more immature, more egotistical, more materialistic, and then there's people in the world that are loving and nurturing and just and fair and want to be in those type of relationships with people. And we need to decide what type of person we're going to be and who we want to hang out with. So, the reason for the top row's reading is the fortune teller. And that can just be our intuition. But do we listen to our intuition, or do we kind of listen to our more fearful nature, shadowy nature, lustful, greedy nature? And, which one do we listen to? And it's also the reason why the reading came out. And we could have been in relationships with people. Somebody, maybe because of a fortune teller. But the way I generally interpret that would just be that we have the free will to choose. Do we listen to our own inner voice, or we start out with the top row with the devil? Our high vibe energy and high vibe people in our life challenge us in our belief system. And that's what the devil does, is challenge us in our belief system. We could always try to take some action in the world to get what we want, to feel better. But then we'd be listening to our more shadowy nature. And we've had people in our life who don't want us to free ourselves. In the devil can be things that manipulate us. They want us to keep letting those things manipulate us, because then we'll stay in friendships and relationships with them. And if they have things within them and people in their life or their world or their ego that manipulates them, they want us to align with our more worldly, codependent nature and stay in a relationship with them. And whatever manipulates them, let it manipulate us too. And even the fortune teller could represent people in our life. Who are the people in our life that are encouraging us to love and believe in ourselves, to listen to our intuition, to believe in ourselves, believe in our dreams, trust other people, believe in love? And who are the people in our life that kind of try to instill fear and insecurity in us, to not love and believe in ourselves, not trust other people, because they might want us to align with them, whether they're just friends or family members, because they don't want us to live our life any differently. If they live their life in a more worldly or shadowy way, if we were to go live the life of our dreams and listen to our intuition and overcome our fears and insecurities and self-learning beliefs, and we didn't let our ego and our fear and other people and the world kind of manipulate us, well, then that would bother them. We freed ourselves, and there's still, the devil talks about all those things that try to restrict you, confine you, imprison you, limit you. The devil doesn't want us to give birth to new things. It wants us to keep repeating these old patterns. High vibe energy, represented by God at the big picture, wants people to learn lessons in life. realize, ooh, that wasn't a good idea. Ooh, that hurt. Ooh, yeah, no, that's kind of trying to get me in my lust and my greed and my pride and my ego and my more immature, indulgent nature. If I don't want to kind of drive my life off into the ditch, I need to kind of stand up to my own shadow nature and offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness and encouragement to keep moving forward and not be tempted to just keep repeating an old pattern and staying in my comfort zone where I'm not like growing to my full potential. And there's always going to be people in our life that want us to be in relationship with them, stay at that job, stay in that friendship, and not move forward in life differently because they don't want to move forward in life differently. And that's fine. They don't have to. But I am moving forward in life differently. If you want to come with, you can, but you can't be in more shadowy energy. If you were to look at the big picture, we refer to shadowy energy as like the devil and high vibe energy God. Does the devil want to hang out with other people who is like themselves? No. The devil wants to hang out with people to try to manipulate people that are a challenge, right? I want you to give up hope and faith and belief in yourself and in your dreams and kind of look to me as the answer to all your problems and love me and make your life all about me. Because the devil doesn't want us to give birth to new things. And we can have people in our life who are like that. So, what is the reason for the bottom rose reading? It is also the devil is Capricorn energy. The tunnel is Capricorn energy. But I also kind of view the tunnel card as like Virgo energy. Virgo energy helps us transition, and this could be working through your fears and your insecurities. The bottom row, again, can represent our more shadowy nature. And our Virgo nature, taking time alone to kind of look at those things we'd rather not look at, the things we keep hidden in the dark. The truth sets us free. Shedding light on those things that manipulate us, just being willing to look at them within ourselves and deal with them. I have fear. I have insecurity. I have some self-limiting beliefs. I have some past pain and heartbreak. Blah, blah, blah. Just acknowledging it is a big step, right? And that gets us one more closer to being free of maybe kind of with this seeming like a mountain and we're in the cave of these things that weigh on us, right? And I want to be free of these things that weigh on me. And I want to shed light on those things. And I want to live my authentic truth. Shadowy Capricorn represented by the devil. High vibe Capricorn, where you have done the work within yourself to heal and grow and mature yourself, to deal with those issues you wanted to not deal with, or kind of didn't even know were buried beneath the surface, to deal with them so you can be free to live your authentic life and have new beginnings. It's also the reason why the reading came out down here. So we can get in relationships with people, and in our Libra energy and our Capricorn energy, we can harness them differently. One person could like to hide things or their authentic nature from the world, and that can be you just like to operate from your egoic defensive nature. I don't want to be more authentically myself. I don't want my more, Virgo energy is our more wise, introspective, self-aware, has learned lessons in life, has hope and faith and belief in ourselves, believe we can pick ourselves up and learn lessons and keep moving forward. Like nothing can stop us, But sometimes it's also being high vibe energy is being a good leader in the world. And some people, no, I want to just maybe live life the way I've lived it, make my life maybe more about myself or the world. I don't really want to be let my more authentic nature out to play in the world. My more loving, hopeful, believing nature, it could get hurt out there. There's other people out there. That's scary. I get hurt. So I just want to keep that aspect, my more authentic nature, buried away. So, for some people, the devil stopped them from listening to their intuition, their more high vibe nature, and high vibe people in their life, and instead, just gonna try to keep things buried beneath the surface. And, you're either inspired to want to put in that work and effort to work through those things, but it takes a lot of work and effort to deal with your past pain, heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs, and work through all that. And some people are like, nah, I'm not going to do it. I don't have to do it. That's true. You don't have to do it. But in the shadowy row, we have the clouds, the whip, the snake, and the journey. And that journey being like a black and white card kind of makes me think of people who just keep repeating an old pattern. It's like stuck in a time warp. They could see other people who go on this journey, who free themselves from things that manipulate them. They face their fears to overcome the devil. I'm not going to let other shadowy things that have happened in my life, my more immature nature, other people who tempt me in my more immature nature, whatever, to keep standing in my way. I am moving forward. And some people have watched some people go on that journey, and they know they're moving forward in life differently. They know they don't seem to be manipulated by some of the things that some of these other people are manipulated by. And in the clouds card, it could be they don't understand it. The clouds can just talk about emotional confusion. And this is Gemini energy, which Gemini energy is about our free will. And some people don't even understand. We don't understand how some people, kind of what drives and motivates them and why those things are so important to them. They, in turn, don't understand why we view life the way we view it and why some things really drive and motivate us. And the clouds reminds me of Pisces energy. Other people in the world could view other people as like living in fantasy land. The people that are more about the world, who with the whip and the snake, which the snake is Scorpio energy, but it also reminds me of Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy. Some people are more caught up in the world and looking like a shining star in the world. That's the path to victory and success, because Capricorn energy can be what we think is victorious and successful. And that's their truth. That's the journey they're going on. And then when they see other people are like, kind of not more caught up in the world, like, it's kind of like they overcame their more worldly nature to listen more in high vibe. Pisces energy is about our intuition and our dreams and our imagination and stuff, that other people align more with their more intuitive, creative, hopeful, believing nature, and other people are like, you live in fantasy land, wake up, Gee, you were going to get slaughtered out there maybe with the whip card, you don't understand this game of life, this is a dog-eat-dog world, and, you better look out for yourself, and you better align with some people in the world who kind of seem to know how this game of life is run, and got these things of the world for stability and security and status and image and our shining stars in the world, or who will make you more of a shining star in their life where it's more about you, because some people in their shadowy energy, in shadowy Aquarius, and probably some shadowy Scorpio and Pisces. Some people are full of themselves, and some people think, I do look like a shining star in the world, and I do have this certain status or image or social clout or looks or money or whatever. People should want to be in a relationship with me and go on a journey with me because I look maybe victorious and successful in some way in the world. But some people are just full of themselves, and where they are going, some other people are like, oh my gosh, you are really don't even see through the illusion, and you're kind of headed for hell in a handbasket. but you don't even see it, but, you know, and some of the other people have already done that, and they already know that if you take action more out of not wanting to deal with the truth, that's what the clouds can talk about. Like, no, I don't want to, I want to live in denial of the truth. No, shadowy Scorpio, emotionally, I reject my loving nature. That's the danger zone. That's the devil. That's how I could get hurt. That's what I reject. And so emotionally, they could be more emotionally shallow and superficial people. They could be very harsh emotionally, like they're a bad mother, father, coach voice in their own head. You need to do this, and you need to look like that, and you need to have this kind of image, and you need to have this. That is victory and success, and that is the most important thing. And shadowy energy can just be that people are kind of tipped out of balance, and again, just all these things and this rhetoric maybe in their own head, and this way that they view the world and how they define themselves and how they really want other people to view them or think is living the dream life. And, some people are just really clueless. And, we can all go indulge and want to. My truth is, in my Gemini, my dualistic nature, in my Pisces energy, what I find emotionally fulfilling is it's not love. I've already probably done love, went on that track, got deceived, got manipulated, no more. And then it becomes a life of, I might try to present myself as being a more just, fair, balanced, loving person than I am, but I'm kind of deceiving and manipulating people because I don't really plan to do love. But if I can get someone who's loving to indulge me in a relationship, the devil always wants kind of like to cheat the system, get a free ride. Yeah, the journey, the price, the ticket price is love, and some people don't want to pay the ticket price. I don't really want to do love. And I'm hoping to use my looks or my charm or my money or my status or all these things, my sexuality, to try to let someone let me move forward with them. Not authentically doing love, coming out into the light, revealing the truth, being more authentic, being more invested in truth and love and justice and fairness than me and the world and ego and image and what I can get from it. And some people have already dealt with some people that are like this. They had the illusion that, of course, everybody's motivated and inspired by love. And if I'm loving and encouraging and supportive, of course they will work through their mental conflict and their fears and their insecurities. And of course, who doesn't want to free themselves from those things that manipulate them? But, we've all kind of been there to a degree. We were younger, we went and indulged in this, and we probably had people in our life, honey, why are you doing that? And why are you hanging out with those people? And why are you, and it's kind of like, we're all learning lessons, and we all learn lessons at different stages of life. And sometimes we've learned some lessons that some other people haven't learned. As we get older, we learn some more of those lessons, and we might have concerns about some people in our life. And we kind of got to let everybody, when people are ready to deal with the truth, they'll deal with the truth. And for a long time, we're caught up in the illusion of the world and ourself and all these things that we think are going to be the answer to all of our problems. And eventually, hopefully down the road, we kind of realize how we were deceiving and manipulating ourselves, and we were maybe repeating some poor past patterns. And all of it is to try to help us get more clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. We come in contact with all these different people, and we think, yeah, that's what I want to go do. Yeah, I think that'll make me happy. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. And some of those relationships keep moving forward. Some of those relationships don't. Some of those things that didn't work out can really put us in a funk, and we're really confused. Well, I love them. I thought we were going to bring a dream into reality. why didn't it work? And then it kind of forces us to, we can either keep belittling and berating ourselves. We can have people in our life who are belittling and berating. We can have people in our life who are toxic and cruel and mean and abusive and just energy in general. Am I going to let negative energy keep me in negative energy? And high vibe people say no. And they know they can't indulge themselves in not dealing with the truth, because the truth sets me free, and I can always want to stay in illusion about the truth. And and the truth is that we have to see is that some people have some lessons to learn, is what the devil can talk about. And some people really are quite shadowy. And, that might not have been how they presented themselves, but as time went by, we could have found out they either have a lot of things that manipulate them that they don't want to deal with and see the truth of, and things in the world and all those things that manipulate them. And we kind of saw the truth of it, and it's like, you might want to stay in the dark about it. I've kind of looked at things and seen how things have played out, and I do see the truth about it. And if I keep moving forward with you, all the things that manipulate you basically kind of, I have to let, in a way, manipulate me, because you're not willing to reveal the truth of it and stand up to it or deal with it or those people or whatever it is. So it keeps me kind of moving forward. And again, we can move forward in these relationships. The devil can just mean we're attracted to someone, and we could have a lot of things in common, that it's easy to be in a relationship with them because we have similar values or hobbies and habits and things that we enjoy doing. But then as time goes by, eventually the high vibe people kind of want to kind of let the past be in the past and want to become more independent of it. High vibe energy is about being more independent. And we're all going to do that work, aren't we? To become more independent of some of these things that manipulate us. And sometimes we find out that the people we get in a relationship with are like, well, that you could work through some of the things that manipulate you. That'd be okay. And so, you could do that thinking actually they'd be proud of you. And then you find out that then they're like, oh, well, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, because you did kind of free yourself from some things that could have manipulated you when we first got in the relationship. And I didn't mind you maybe freeing yourself from some of them, so you maybe worked more cooperatively with me in a relationship, but I was never planning to step outside my comfort zone. I was never going to really move forward myself differently. And that can kind of be when some people are in their ego. Like, you can do some things, you could use some improvement. Yeah, you should quit some of those habits, and, you should put in more work and effort and whatever. But then when it kind of gets to be where you think you're ready to go on this journey together, like now you've kind of maybe gotten healed and grown and matured yourself some way that you're kind of on the same way. Well, shadowy energy is also kind of competitive energy, and some people don't like that, and you weren't ever supposed to really kind of free yourself from enough things that you were kind of on the same page, because shadowy energy can be that they like a more misbalanced relationship. I like to seem like the star and like I'm going places. You should want to be in a relationship with me, like hook your cart to my train, and with me, I will bring you out into the light or something, follow my lead. And that's kind of a more imbalanced kind of codependent relationship. And they kind of didn't mind you if you were kind of confused about your truth, or maybe a little harsh and critical to yourself, or had some poor habits that kind of kept you a little bit imprisoned in a way. from believing in yourself or listening to your intuition. But then once you did work through those things, and Scorpio can talk about the emotional confusion and kind of all the things that you used to let get you in, kind of viewing it as Aquarius, that used to kind of have you up in your head and about believing in yourself and keeping things in perspective and looking at life from a bigger picture and being able to keep things in perspective and kind of temper yourself and get more balance within yourself. When you did that work within yourself, then you could have thought, oh, now we're all going to kind of move forward. And then they were like, no, that isn't how I want to move forward. You know, I wanted to keep moving forward like this. And you should, if you want to like heal or grow or mature yourself or be more just or fair or balanced within yourself, that's fine. But I'm still going to be the way I am. And that isn't that. And I think we should just kind of hide the truth, maybe. And you should just keep indulging me in my more immature or shadowy or bossy or controlling or whatever manipulates me. Just ignore and act like it doesn't exist, because I might still want to move forward with you in a relationship, but I'm not going to do that work. And people might keep putting in work and effort into the relationship, hoping one day, like, the dream will come into reality, but the dream just keeps passing by, because the dream can't come into reality unless both people are kind of on the same page at the same time. And if someone has worked through their self-limiting beliefs and past pain and heartbreak and emotional confusion and things of the past, and they're just not the same person they were before. They don't look at life the same way. They don't view themselves the same way. They don't view the world the same way. They don't view relationships the same way. What they used to think was just and fair, they don't view it as just and fair anymore. We've all went through that, and I always use when we were younger as kind of an analogy, but, you know, we had ways of living life and viewing life and relationships when we were 15, and when we were 18, and when we were 21, and when we were 25. And we let go of some of the more immature ways of living life and viewing life as we move to those next stages of life. It's just that once people become adults, part of why they could have kept up with some of those things when they were younger was peer pressure, the world kind of pressuring them. Some of them didn't want to do the work back then, but damn, everybody else is doing it. Shit, I'll look like lame if I don't, so then they do it too. But then it was like, once I get to be an adult and I've got like a job, boy, I'm done. You know, let those other people go do whatever the hell they want to go do. I'm good. You know, and then it isn't ever challenging themselves to expand their perception of themselves and the world around them, or how they view other people, or how they view relationships, or what they think is just and fair. It's kind of like, you know, if you grew up in a family and you had siblings and someone had this certain way, which was not really all that great or nice, of treating someone, and they never grow out of it, and everybody else has like grown up and become adults, they still think, I don't know, they can be bossy and controlling and abusive. And it's like, you know, other people are like, you know, I might have grown up with you in my family. I don't need to hang around you. Will I maybe have to see you at Christmas? Yes. But, you know, I'm going to distance myself from you. Why? You know, maybe back then I didn't feel like I had any escape. I could have wanted to escape something that was dark, but I had no way of escaping. And then some people who have just issues within themselves, they don't think the answer is for them to do this work within themselves. They want to get away from it, but they look to other people, or, well, in this case, it would be other people. Other people could look to drugs and alcohol and whatever, but some people, that's not their vice. Their vice is other people. I'm going to try to get in a relationship with someone, And I think they're the answer to my problems. And again, but it's very codependent. And the devil card in typical tarot looks just like the lover's card, except that it's kind of toxic and people have chains and shackles around them. You know, you are the answer to my problems. If something was unhappy, you are the answer to me being happy. But they never learn. It's like staying codependent, where you have to keep giving and encouraging me and loving me because I don't do this work within myself. I don't work through the emotional confusion or the past pain and heartbreak. But it's like deciding, in their like ego, I don't have to do that. I can like carry that baggage with me, and it affects me and affects how I interact in relationships with people. But no, I think I ignore it. Other people should ignore it. If it makes me brusque or harsh or bossy or controlling, people should indulge me in my brusque and harsh and bossy and controlling ways. It's like, for how long do we want, when are you going to work through that and quit being more bossy and brusque and harsh and controlling, right? Or think people should keep indulging you. Some people grew up with people who did indulge them. Oh, pumpkin, you're a shining star. Oh my gosh, you are going to be so victorious and so successful. And, you watch out for those other people in the world who are deceptive and manipulative and try to take advantage of you. And those people should be grateful to be in a relationship with you. And then they go out there in the world, male or female, and then they kind of want to recreate that type of environment. Keep indulging me like a parent would a child. It's like, oh my God, you need to grow up, And again, other people move away, but kind of in the Seven of Swords energy of the snake, everybody can choose to stay in denial of the truth. Oh, it wasn't because I was bossy. It wasn't because I was arrogant. It wasn't because I was controlling. It wasn't because I was rude or unkind or tried to control people. No, you keep telling yourself that's not it, and people can keep moving away. And you can keep repeating this pattern and living in illusion for as long as you want. The pattern will keep repeating itself, whatever the pattern is. If we keep indulging people in poor behavior, there will always be people who are happy that we keep indulging them in their poor behavior, who we kind of can't get away from. And until we decide, I'm not doing that anymore, figure out why I indulge people in their poor behavior, I need to be balanced between my loving nature and being practical and grounded. I can get myself in relationships or jobs that people created the illusion, oh, this is going to be like a dream come true. We're going to go on a journey with you. And then you get in it and you find out they're nothing like what they presented themselves as being. And they repeat some poor past patterns. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just got myself in a little bit of hell. And maybe because I didn't listen to my intuition. And my intuition could have been telling me not to take that job, not to get more involved with those people. But kind of in our more worldly nature, there's these things, and we want relationship and we want community and we might want a job. So, it's all about learning these lessons. Some high vibe people have learned these lessons because they have dealt with the devil. And what those people are doing now is they are listening to their intuition, and they are staying focused on truth and love, to not get caught up in their head, not to be tempted to kind of try to take the easy path, because the devil is all about quick satisfaction, but it really isn't the answer to our problems. So to keep persevering, keep going on that journey, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And eventually, as time goes by, the devil will be in your rearview mirror. And for some people in your life that did want to control and manipulate you and wanted you to think your dreams couldn't come into reality with them, as they've been kind of maybe doing things to try to hurt you or manipulate you or investing time, energy into other people and things, thinking you wouldn't love and believe in yourself, by the time they turn around, they could be shocked that, shit, they're way over there. How'd they do this? While I was doing this, they were doing that, and I don't even understand it. I can't even see what they're doing. That could really bother them. Some of them really wanted to keep an eye on you. That can be shadowy Scorpio, where people kind of act like, and it doesn't have to be a Scorpio that you're dealing with. Anybody in their Scorpio nature of self can be people who are like a private detective in a relationship. They knowing and working with you, that's not enough. I need to know what's going on when I'm not around, and they have no right. That's invading people's privacy, and they haven't learned that lesson yet. Some of those people might be repeating that past pattern, and that might come to light. But anyway, they see other people have moved forward in life, and they don't get it. And then they're sitting there, how did I get stuck back here, kind of repeating a past pattern? I thought I was on the path to having this new beginning and looking victorious and successful in some way. And it seems like I don't even know what they did, and they seem to, I guess we could look at the fortune teller as kind of like a high priestess card, which can be where people have learned a lot of lessons just by sitting back and observing other people and how the way other people act and the choices other people make, and just listening to their intuition and gaining insight and understanding about why people do what they do, and seeing the actions that they're taking to be clear, to not be in denial of the truth. If I see someone being immature, prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, deceptive, manipulative, repeating poor past patterns, more ego-based, materialistic-based, very narrow-focused, don't have a very expansive view of life, or, yeah, is like single-minded in a way. Scorpio could be kind of black and white thinking. The more they get more clear about that, what other people's truth is and what their truth is, and how with some of those people it doesn't match. With some other people, there could be some people you're attracted to. You have been doing things that maybe even challenge your own comfort zone and belief system. But you're doing this work within yourself to detach from harnessing this energy in a shadowy way. Because the only person you can change is you. And if other people didn't want to move forward in life, be more authentic, be more just and fair or loving, well then you kind of got to go on that journey without them. And you don't want to repeat that pattern. So you're doing this work within yourself to, and Capricorn or the devil could just represent work. You could be focusing on work, your unique talent, skills, and interest, instead of a relationship with certain people. But while you're doing that, you're detaching and seeing how you could have harnessed those energies in a more shadowy way. And because of that, it kind of could have been something that kind of tempted you to be in alignment with other people who harnessed it in a more shadowy way. And when you were ready to not align with those in a more shadowy way, you are also willing to detach from people in your life who harnessed it in a more shadowy way. And that can also be why some people would maybe like to come with you, but they have a lot of mental conflict about becoming independent from harnessing them in a shadowy way, and people in their life who want to still be in relationship with them if they're in that energy. And while they work through that, I'm moving forward. I've already been illuminated to the truth. You might still be struggling to see the truth. You have fond memories of people. You love people. To each their own. I'm moving forward, and you can work on whatever you need to work on. So what are these cards? The fulfillment, the disconnection, the child, the letter, and the star. So here we have Gemini and Aquarius. This is Gemini, and I kind of view that one as Aquarius also. In our free will, I kind of view this card, the disconnection card, like Scorpio energy, because we do have our dualistic nature, and emotionally in Scorpio, there's a lot of things about our more worldly, egoic nature that we like, and our more self-indulgent nature and living in illusion and staying in denial. There's all parts of that that can be appealing to us, and we can have people in our life who want us to indulge in a relationship with them or indulge them or live our life a certain way, and there could be a lot of things about it that we could kind of find emotionally fulfilling. But we also have our more hopeful, believing inner child nature that, and it's kind of like our soul, that everything has a time and a place in our life, but our soul is always calling us to emotionally detach, because that's what, like, the Scorpio death card is about, where we emotionally detach from an old way of living life to keep pursuing our dreams and our truth. What was our truth at one phase of our life? It was our truth. Was it just and fair for us to live our life like that? Yeah, we were 15, we were 18, we were 21, we were 25. It was where we were at. It's how we viewed the world. But when our intuition is kind of telling us that part of the only reason we might not move forward in life is maybe because of fear of believing in ourselves, believing in our dreams, we could stay in our comfort zone, repeat some patterns, even though it's starting to feel more and more, when we start to feel more and more confused and feel more, deceived or manipulated or abused, it's kind of the sign that it's time to go. If we kept trying to stay like a 15-year-old and we were becoming 18 and 19, we're like resisting going with the flow and facing our fears to love and believe in ourselves. And it kind of gets more and more toxic. We could look, I think you can look at the world as you are meant to enjoy the world, and it was made for us to enjoy. But if we give those things of the world too much precedent in our life, and we don't want to see the truth of it, so some of those things we could indulge in, say drinking, for example, we've given it so much power in our life, we're kind of afraid of becoming more independent of it, so that's where we gave it a lot of power, and it can kind of drive our life into the ditch, and we need to, in Aquarius energy, put things in perspective and stand up for ourselves and our dream. And I need to put things in perspective, and high vibe energy is in Libra energy, maintaining balance within yourself. There can be some things I would like to indulge in that I enjoy, but if I am trying to bring a dream into reality, and if I am working together with other people, whether it's jobs, friendships, or relationships, if I act in some more immature, whatever ways of being, some of those people are going to emotionally disconnect from me and move on, as well they should. And, if their being the child can represent that people are being authentic and loving, and they're in Gemini and Aquarius, air sign energy, along with probably harnessing high vibe Libra, they have hope and faith and belief in themselves, in their dreams, in love. They treat other people in truth and love. They have that hopeful, believing spirit. Am I willing to detach from, it's kind of like what foundation and then what people do I align with in my life? Could there have been some people in my life that at one time I wanted to have a dream come into reality with them, but that didn't work out? When do I let go of that old dream, especially if those people aren't working with me and putting in work and effort with me, to say, it was what it was. it's time to move forward. I'm emotionally disconnected and have done that work. That's high vibe energy. I've done that work to let go of that old dream, and I'm ready to put my focus and attention on this new friendship or relationship. And then the child can represent this new beginning. Or do we keep beating ourselves up? You know, if we high vibe people get out of their ego. If they owe people an apology, they apologize. They don't want other people to be in conflicted energy because at one time they were confused or immature or self-indulgent or had some lessons to learn, right? And they communicate with those people their truth. They reveal the truth to people in their life that now that they have learned some lessons in their life that, you know, I might look at life differently now, and maybe I didn't then. I'm sorry if I hurt you. I don't want you to stay in negative energy because of it. I want everybody to feel free. Well, when you do that, some people were moving forward also in life, and then it could challenge their belief systems and maybe make them question why they've been moving forward in life the way they've been moving forward and the people they've been moving forward with. You know, and it can all, when one person is willing to free themselves from things that manipulate them, take more independent, more authentic, more loving, more just, more fair, free themselves from things that manipulate them, it kind of does challenge other people to question, well, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because again, some people could be more shadowy or in relationships that are more shadowy, but because of the devil can represent stability and security and status and image and all those things of the world, and we can be attracted to people, but is it aligned with truth and love? Is it aligned with our truth? Do we love them? Do they love us? Is it more for the ego or the image? And you know, and then it kind of challenges other people. And for some people, people can have friends or family members and they get in friendships or relationships with other people, and it really, initially it can go okay because it seems like we're all on the same page. But then if someone, when one person in the dynamic changes, it kind of changes the whole dynamic. And if one person does some work within themselves to kind of free themselves from something, it kind of can cause some disruption in the family or in the group and some confusion in the group. It, you know, you could even have a high vibe person come into a more shadowy work environment where some of the more hopeful, believing, loving people kind of indulge some more shadowy people, and then they could hire someone who is more on alignment with more of the high vibe people. Well, that can cause some chaos because it kind of gave the more hopeful, believing, loving people a sense that, oh my gosh, you know, I don't have to kind of keep indulging people like this. And there are other people in the world. And maybe I should try to get some other people to start working here. And maybe I can kind of sift out the wheat from the chaff or the goats from the sheep and, you know, see who really does put more work and effort in and who doesn't. And some people could harness high vibe Capricorn and they put in a lot of work and effort. They are intuitive. They could be attractive in their own Capricorn energy of self. They don't have to be a Capricorn. And it kind of can cause some disruption because if other people are used to kind of intimidating people, controlling people, manipulating people, repeating some past patterns, and then some other people come into the mix and they're not trying to do that, and they are not someone who is more about themselves and immature and blah, 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 and they really are more independent, don't want to repeat some of these patterns. When they see that people are doing this, they kind of keep their distance from them. They stay focused on the bigger picture. They stay focused on putting in their work and effort, keep listening to their intuition. Then other people cannot like that. You're not letting me manipulate and control you. I don't want other people to like you and blah, blah. The list goes on. But right now, people can be challenged, is what the devil can talk about. Challenged to really think about what is their truth and what is their dream. And they have people in their life that, and even music and books and things like that can inspire us to look at life differently. But we can also just watch and see people in the world, right? What is my dream? And if I have people in my life who, for a variety of reasons, I could like to be in a relationship with them, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't either be growing to my full potential. They might not encourage me to do that. It might be a little bit more about the ego or the image. And some people could be kind of struggling of, and then some people are in relationships with loving people who challenge them to get over their fears, to listen to their intuition. Not everyone is the same. And some shadowy people, I guess it just depends on if they are people who only want to manipulate people for what can benefit them. It really doesn't matter what kind of relationship they're in with people. If those people want them to move forward in any way, only if those people seem like they're going to keep indulging them, then they would. If they think those people, if they want those people to keep thinking the dream will come into reality one day, and those people keep being willing to move forward with them, they'd keep moving forward with them. The whole thing is, shadowy people will stay in relationships with people until other people want to deal with the truth. And then the gig is up. The devil doesn't want to be exposed. If you're willing to say, I think you're being bossy and controlling. I think you're in this for more materialistic, egoic reasons. I think you want to be indulged in a relationship. That enough can make the devil run away, because the devil doesn't like to be kind of confronted. And I'll go find someone else to be in a relationship with. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Libra energy? They're listening to their intuition. They're seeing who seems to be more willing to... You can always have people in your life who want to indulge you for what they can get out of it. And it's like, I don't need you to indulge me, and I don't want people to indulge me. I want people who have hope and faith and belief and love and in their dreams, who are just naturally inspired by it. The Death card, why? Because of the Ten of Wands. So, people who dealt with shadowy things and people in their life, they did this work. They're much more aligned with their intuitive nature, where before they could have ignored it, and it was overwhelming, and they got really inspired. I do not want to repeat this old pattern. The Tens can talk about being overwhelmed. The Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy, about higher learning and education. The people who ended up repeating patterns, and it was toxic and unhealthy and manipulative, they were determined, in the Death card, they didn't want to repeat that old pattern. And they picked up all their sticks, and they put in all this work and effort to free themselves, to deal with the truth. They had to love themselves. They had to offer love to themselves, that things didn't work out the way they wanted, that a dream they wanted to have come into reality didn't come into reality. They had to detach from their more codependent nature and people in their life who are maybe more immature and codependent and wanted them to be in that energy. And they had to align in their Gemini and Aquarius energy with aligning with their more hopeful, believing, loving themselves nature, looking at life from a higher perspective, trusting the divine has a plan for their life. And because of that, the high vibe people, the death card talks about death and transformation. You closed out an old cycle. After the 10 of Wands, you come out with the Ace of Wands. And you give birth to a whole new life. You are not the same person you were before. And while you're doing that, and other people in the world are doing that, and other people are moving forward with you in that energy, you weren't going to stay in non-life-giving energy anymore. If people aren't just and fair and working cooperatively with me in a truthful, just and fair and loving way, then, hey, I wish you peace. Go find someone else to hang out with. I'm moving on. And while you're doing that, the other people, it's kind of like here you can like see shadows, like people are standing here watching you go into the light. And then they're going to turn back and they're going to go back and do this. Let's create some confusion about why that didn't work out. Let's maybe say that they were abusive and or whatever, superficial and shallow, whatever. And more about themselves or deceptive or manipulative. You know, basically they'll cast their negative traits and characteristics onto you. And they'll just go repeat this old pattern with someone else. Well, damn, that didn't work. They were, you know, everything comes with a price. High vibe people were not willing to sell their soul and their truth and their love and their self-respect and their creative inspired nature for people who aren't just and fair and authentic and loving. If I am going to go all in on something, it's going to be on people who transform their life, who are intuitive and loving and nurturing and supportive. And you and whoever can have this life. I hope you enjoy it. I found out I didn't enjoy it, but if that's how you want to live your life, you keep doing it. And I think as you're moving forward in that energy, high vibe energy is about being a leader in the world and inspiring other people. You will inspire other people to work through this, to put an end to feeling overwhelmed. Why am I the only one seeming to putting in all this work and effort to move this dream forward? Both people, or all the people, depending on the situation, need to be putting in the same work and effort to move this forward. It's unfair for other people, like, well, you're the more loving, creative person. How about you do that? And I don't contribute in that way at all. It's like, well, then you need to get on a different train because this is one motivated and inspired by hope and faith and belief. And if it's romantic, love or loving your job and invested in the job to move it forward. And if you just want to, oh, let's not do that today, and we just keep doing the same shit over and over and over, you're not willing to detach from something you need to detach from to go on that journey. You want to hold on to the things and the way things are, and we're moving forward. And some people are going to get left behind. And they are going to be confused. But it's like, you weren't seeing the truth. You didn't want to put in the work and effort to work cooperatively in a more just and fair way. Oh. What's coming up for them? The Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Two of Wands. Why? Because of the Seven of Wands. So, some of the more worldly, shadowy people operating more from their immature, egoic nature, in their earth sign energy of self, in their Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo nature, they're more aligned with the world. Their truth is, I'm kind of more about myself in the world, not love, or growing up or healing or maturing myself. I'm kind of defensive. I offer people things of the world. I'll have sex with you. I have money. I have status. I'm attractive. I'm charming. You should have mental conflict about believing in your dreams, I view the Two of Wands is your dreams. You should be defensive of believing in your dreams. You should offer me a cup of love. You should love me. That's what immature, shadowy people want. They're still looking for someone to love them because they haven't learned to love themselves. Other people who were in a relationship with could have been in that same energy at one time, but they still had hope and faith and belief in love. We're trying to get other people to work together with them in love, thinking that was the answer. They realized that wasn't the answer. I need to quit trying to change other people like it takes work and effort for someone to want to love me. No, I need to love me and then work with people who want to work with me cooperatively in love. But the shadowy people keep wanting they're not even inspired by love, don't want to do love, hoping these more hopeful, believing people, I can change you. The fives talk about change. Oh my goodness, there's someone over there who has mental conflict about love. Let me go change them. Well, people did that. And then eventually, it keeps not happening. The dream doesn't happen. And kind of the high vibe people who are motivated and inspired by love see the truth. I can't change other people. And why do I try to change other people? Again, I need to get out of my own ego. I don't have to. It's not like I have to work for people to love me. Oh, well, if I got you out of the dark, if I got you out of this, then you'll love me. I am worthy of love. No, loving people are loving. I just go in the world and treat people with love and respect, and if they're into that, they're into that. If they're not, they're not. And eventually some high vibe people see the truth of it, and those people stand up for themselves. I did want a dream to come into reality with you, but I keep seeing you have mental conflict about it because you're more emotionally invested in yourself or other people or your ego or the world, and your dream and your truth is different than my dream and my truth. So I'm going to let someone else invest in you and indulge you or make their life more about those things of the world, if that's what's most important to them. But I want a just and fair and balanced, loving relationship. We all want stability and security, but I also want authentic, loving relationships. And some people are like, no. And they could, again, because I have these things of the world. No, it's supposed to be more about me. Or because you're more fearful, or because you're more codependent, or because you're attracted to me, or because you love me. You are supposed to indulge me in a relationship. And other people are like, that's not love. And I'm not going to let people who I have love for manipulate me. And I'm going to move on and go find other people who have dealt with people like this, who have transformed their life and have emotionally detached from people like this and are ready to have a new beginning with people who are more inspired by truth and love. And I'm going to listen to my intuition as I go. And the shadowy people always think they can manipulate loving people, kind of use their loving nature to manipulate them. And they keep having more loving people being defensive to them. They still don't want to see the truth that maybe they would benefit from looking at life a little differently. But they have mental conflict about the truth that it isn't supposed to be all about them. So they keep repeating this pattern. I'll just go find someone else. I'll go invest in someone who has maybe some of those things of the world that I want. They could think maybe they'd be willing to indulge people for those things because that's how they view relationships. If I have more of the things, you should indulge me. If I'd be willing to indulge other people, they tell themselves. But, it's one thing to think you should indulge people for those things of the world. And if they're someone who's kind of more used to being the person indulged, to get in a relationship with someone who's like, you can move forward with me in a relationship, but let's present ourselves as loving, and you put in all the work to be the loving person in the relationship and indulge me, and I'll be more about myself and intimidating and controlling. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Create an illusion of how wonderful our life is, and you put in all that work to make it seem that way? Well, that's what I want. And some of these people thought, I'd be willing to do that. And they went to go do it, and then they found out they weren't willing to do it. Well, then the loving people in their life ended a relationship with them. The more bossy or whatever people in their life who want maybe more immature people that they thought, oh, I'll just indulge that person, then they'll move forward with me. They realized they didn't like being in a relationship with someone like themselves. So now they could be trying to find someone who's more in the middle ground, because everybody's trying to find people who are more on the same page as them. If they can find someone who kind of seems to have mental conflict about loving and believing in themselves and their dreams, who could be more emotionally invested in the world and, kind of more motivated and inspired to live their life like that, then that is a just and fair relationship. I'd much rather have someone in a relationship with someone where they are kind of more on the same page. I certainly don't want to see somebody who's more shadowy trying to manipulate a more loving person and kind of trying to trap them in a relationship. And maybe if they're in a relationship with someone where it is more the same, they can battle and fight it out and trying to deceive and manipulate each other, and maybe at least keeps them out of trouble. And picking on other people in the world, go pick on someone who's like yourself. But I think they end up having mental conflict being in relationships with people who are like themselves. And they really want to try to get people who are more loving and nurturing, more tempered in their ego to indulge them. And if they're trying that again, some of the people they've been trying to repeat that pattern with could be defensive to them. Because as time has gone by and the dream keeps not coming into reality, they see the truth that the dream isn't going to come into reality. Some people just created the illusion, oh yeah, no, I'm willing to bring that dream into reality. And then it's just kind of the devil indulging themselves in a relationship with a loving person until that person sees the truth. That they never planned to bring that dream into reality. It's going to stay like this, keep moving forward just like this forever. And the other people are like, I have a dream, I'm leaving. And they leave. And it's like, oh shit. And then they try to go find someone else and repeat the pattern again. So just knowing there's shadowy people in the world, you've probably dealt with your own shadowy people. Listen to your intuition. Get to know people. The Ten of Wands can be about getting to know people. And a lot of conversation and getting to know people. Listen to your intuition. When people show you the truth of who they are, quit excusing their poor behavior. If they show you they're more immature, more petty, more bossy, more controlling, more egotistical, defensive to love, wish them peace and keep moving on. So there you go, Libra. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.